Another year, another YouTube rewind as usual. We're not surprised that this year there was a YouTube rewind as there has been for the last 8 years or so. What did YouTube do wrong this time? K-pop! But more importantly, what is there for me to say that hasn't already been said? I mean, every single person and their Minecraft girlfriend has already made videos on the YouTube Rewind 2019, so what else am I supposed to say? I mean, yeah, it was pretty bad, but it wasn't bad in the same way that 2018's was bad. It was more or less just lacking. It wasn't really there. When I was watching it, it didn't feel like I was really watching anything. It just kind of seemed like I was watching a whole bunch of other people's stuff. It just kind of felt like I was watching a Watch Mojo video. Now, I know that joke has really been used like 10,000 times at this point, but it's only really been used that many times because it's true. YouTube literally ripped off Watch Mojo. But yeah, honestly, the 2019 Rewind was pretty much a homage to the 2011 Rewind, of which they basically just counted down the most popular things and videos and subscribe YouTube channels, whatever. And that's pretty much what they based it on this year. Because they pretty much gave up. And the reason why they gave up was because YouTube didn't want to spend another 10 to 20 to 30 million dollars on production sets and values and getting all kinds of people to show up and help produce another YouTube Rewind disaster just for it to be a public reputation mess up. This year, they actually did something that I would consider is pretty smart, but at the same time, they failed at it. They did it smart because they found a way to actually include the people and the trends that they knew that people were going to like at the same time of not necessarily getting in trouble for it. In my YouTube Rewind prediction video that I made actually 6 months ago, I said that there was probably no chance that they were ever going to include PewDiePie in the YouTube Rewind ever again, but this year, technically, they didn't add him into the Rewind. They actually just put PewDiePie as a list as part of their little Watch Mojo thing. So pretty much they were able to put him in the Rewind without necessarily endorsing him so that they could avoid the media backlash that they wouldn't be able to if they actually put him into some spectacular movie that they would have all the other years YouTube Rewind has been around. They spent $0 making this because they didn't have to have any budget. It was just literally a top 10 list. And also, they didn't even have to hire anyone to basically go and film it for them. And they could basically include whatever they wanted because it's literally what people actually watched. So no one could technically disagree with it. But at the same time, it was definitely lacking in the fact that it didn't have Chill's voice narrating each number on the countdown.
Number 10, Burger King foot lettuce. Number 9, number 8.
If that was a thing, then I actually probably would have left a like on it because that would have been pretty accurate. But honestly, this was just kind of stupid in my opinion. It wasn't cringy like 2018. It wasn't a fantastic showdown of just nothing but dead memes and things that nobody cared about. It wasn't a political fest, but at the same time, it wasn't anything. It was literally just nothing. You would think YouTube would come up with something a little bit more exciting if they were going to end off the entire decade instead of just doing this. Because like I said, this is not really just the end of the year, this is literally the end of 10 years, this is a decade. When I first saw it, I literally thought it was just a joke video that YouTube had released, and that they were going to actually release the real one the next day. Because they actually released this one a day earlier, so I was like, oh, this is just a mess up, this is just a prank. They're just twisting my giblets, they're pulling my leg, they're gonna drop it tomorrow for real. But they didn't. So I did. And you better watch it right now. I made the real YouTube Rewind with the help of Grande. Thank you so much for being in my video, Grande. You have no idea what it took to actually get that guy to get in my video. Like, oh man, don't even get me started. Anyways, you better watch that. They attempted to pretty much be neutral in the way that they produced this year's YouTube Rewind because they gave up. They no longer wanted to actually put pizzazz into it because they knew that no matter what they were going to do, they were just going to get a bunch of backlash for it anyways. They know that they're doing things wrong. They know that the way that they perform and do things on their own website is against what most people want, but they're also not willing to change it. So instead of going and changing themselves, but also continuing their high budget and high quality things that they used to do, they just decided to go back to their roots, thinking that people were just going to accept it like they did back then. But I don't understand the whole attractiveness of numbers. Like, the whole thing was based off of nothing but numbers and countdowns and just basically popularity based off of nothing but just the sheer views or likes or subscribers, identifying all of the people and trends just off of that one thing. which in reality, in my opinion, is something that I don't think YouTube should stand for. It almost seemed as if they were mocking us in this whole thing. Like, this thing was just one big mocking meme from 2017. Like, literally in the beginning of the video, they literally said, "We made something you didn't like in 2018, so this year, we're doing something that you will like. Because you're better at this than us." They literally said, "Because you're better at this than we are." They almost said it as if like they were saying it passive-aggressively, like, "Oh, well, since you're better at this than us, why don't you just make the YouTube Rewind?" Well, guess what? We did. Some literal YouTuber made a YouTube Rewind, and it actually got on trending. As a matter of fact, not only did some random YouTube content creator who had barely that many subscribers, relatively speaking, make their own YouTube Rewind, but it actually surpassed the YouTube Rewind in general, not only in the search, but on the trending tab for over an hour straight. And also, my YouTube Rewind's pretty good too, so if you want a real YouTube Rewind, go check out mine. There were so many other people who were making YouTube Rewinds of their own on YouTube this year, I just can't help but want to shout all of them out. The main one I want to shout out is this one by ChrisAwake. This YouTube Rewind was probably the most accurate and inclusive YouTube Rewind 2019 parody that I've ever seen, made by just this one guy with really high quality editing skills, and he basically put this thing together, and it's, you know, in my opinion, extremely underrated. You guys should go ahead and check that out. The link will be in the top of the description, and basically just go ahead and support that and share it, along with mine, of course. The whole YouTube community has clearly had enough of YouTube's stuff. And at this point, we're not really upset, we're just kind of bored of it because there's not really anything to react to. It was just a big letdown. I was honestly let down. I was expecting a lot more, even though I wasn't expecting much. So yeah, honestly, I don't think there should be a 2020 YouTube Rewind. I think that we should just make our own YouTube Rewind 2020. I think, if anything, I should be hired to make YouTube Rewind 2020. Or maybe me and J-Law, the creator of the other YouTube Rewind, and all the other people should all come together and just make our own YouTube Rewind. Because honestly, like, we could literally just make it better than YouTube themselves, because obviously at this point, that's the only thing that people want anymore. Yeah, YouTube basically gave up. I'm not sure what they're gonna even do from now on. They're probably not gonna continue doing their high quality things, and they're probably not gonna keep doing this either, since this wasn't highly respected at all. The YouTube creators themselves can come together and continue to make YouTube Rewind what it used to be, and maybe, just maybe, we can redeem it ourselves. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll have a good next year and a good rewind next year, whoever makes it. And I'll see you guys later.